Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I am Pastor John McLean. I am Sans, a co-host today, so I'll have to bring twice the action and twice the love. But like always, we have an amazing show for you today, some amazing guests, and we'll finish it off with the guys next door like we always do. But this would not be the Common Good Radio Show if I did not give grace and love and continued thanks to a very loving Father that makes all the blessings that I have in my life possible. And I usually do that with the Lord's Prayer, as I will this week, and it goes a little something like this: Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mark. I'm glad you're here, because, I will pray to myself all day long, but it's always more fun when someone else is there, because you know what happens?
What?
We're at church. When more than two people join in my name, you are at church. So here we are doing Common Good Radio Show and church all at the same time.
That's a beautiful thing.
Awesome. Yeah. And
I have that Lord's Prayer stamped on this leather bracelet.
Interesting. My
I
wife
wear this every day.
Yeah, my wife's a big fan of it as well. So yeah, she was the one who encouraged me to do that. So
Nice.
yeah, and definitely no better person to kind of transition into than a blooming best friend of mine, Mr. Mark Weischer, Lexus guy. Definitely a model of character and what I've seen so far, unless he's hiding something from me. I don't think he is. But yeah,
The
thank
check
you.
is in the mail.
Thank you, Mark, for joining me once again on the show. My engineer's like doing a dance back there, telling me he wants you to speak more directly into the microphone.
Yes.
There we go.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
No.
I love coming out here and hanging out with you. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. No matter where we're at, hanging out with you is like hanging out with one of my best buds. So, and we just were at actually Dominique Ortega's veteran dinner that he had at
Oh my, yeah. At El Charro Cafe. Yeah. What a great thing that Dominic did, just out of his own heart and his own appreciation, for veterans. It was just a social media post. It wasn't through anything, just through his own will and his own idea.
Heart. Just kind of just to show his character. And thankfully, we're both part of that Dominic Ortega sphere, and that sphere of just like good people in our community that just give back in a special way.
Yeah, and don't forget to thank Ray Flores too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That.
Yeah, and another one of them, us. We're
absolutely.
There's the group of people that we have. So yeah, so thank you for and you being an Air Force vet. I can never thank you enough for your service, brother.
Thank you, man.
Yeah,
a privilege and an honor.
And you being kind of just one of my thankfully I have a handful of sales professional friends. But the only sales professional friend I have that has a book and a fundamentals manual. So I always want to pick your brain. I've already had the good fortune of reading your book, and in chapter 2. You talk about what is getting prepared to make the call. So kind of let our listeners get an understanding of what that means.
So I there's another phrase for it I like to call. It's called I call it taking a checkup from the neck up. Before you make that call.
Interesting.
To get rid of distractions. Make sure you're focused completely on what you want to accomplish for the call.
Okay.
And make sure that you're prepared to do it. You have you kind of have a focus list on what you want your objectives to be, and those target points.
Okay, so definitely just kind of have some type of written down game plan of some capacity going into
even
the
if
call.
It's just an index card. I like to use index cards. I know I'm kind of old school that way.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm there with you. I'm right at that age limit where I'm still old school.
So I'll bullet point. I'll just make a quick bullet point depending on who I'm talking to. I'm just going to bullet point the things that I want to hit.
Interesting.
So I make sure I get there. So I don't ever want to sound scripted, right? But I do want to have a plan for my call. I want to be able to accomplish those objectives. in the call, preparing for the call. So mentally, I want to be focused. I want to be ready. I want to be free from distractions. Turn the TV down, turn the radio off. The music. I just want to be present in the call, and I don't want anything to distract me from doing it. I want to be focused. Check up from the neck up.
Nice. And then in chapter 3, it talks about, and this is really one that really caught me, especially kind of having the marketing background of my own capacity of creative openings. It talks about about creative openings. Give us an example of what a creative opening is.
Yeah, you what you don't want is to sound like every other salesperson out there. Hey, this is Mark Weiss from XYZ Corp. I'm just following up, or I just wanted to talk to you about. Right away, you sound like you almost sound desperate and needy. You want to elevate your status as a salesperson with the client. Okay. So you want to kind of open up creatively. Hey, and I'll say things like, I'm not really sure if I can help you, but maybe you can point me in the right direction. But I'm doing this, and this, and maybe you can tell me who I would need to speak to about this, and this. Is that something that would fall under your parameter? Would you handle that? Or would that be a different department? And if it is a different department, could you maybe give me the name of the person that I need to speak to about that? So that way I don't sound like, excuse me, I don't sound needy or desperate, and I'm not coming across as pushy, right? I'm asking questions, and I want to help.
Interesting. So, outside of the sales, the book and the guide, and being a sales trainer and coach in that capacity, how can people plug in with you and connect with you otherwise?
You can get a hold of me on social media, www.facebook.com/LexusMark18. Also Instagram, Mark Weiss, your Lexus guy. And you feel free to call me, 520-338-5514.
Nice. And I guess kind of as a parting note, for people that get a hold of you and connecting with you, what's something unique that you can provide for them that they will have a hard time finding elsewhere?
You put me on the spot.
I know, sorry. I just want to give you a little curveball as we were going out.
Yeah. Just find the right person. Don't be afraid to work with a salesperson. A lot of people get intimidated by salespeople, but there's a lot of good salespeople out there, and they want to help. So I would say find the person that you want to work with and that will work with you, and develop that relationship with them and let them help you. Let them show you their expertise.
Nice.
And do it. The average person buys a car, I think 8 times in their lifetime is the average. And I sell 8 cars in a week. So let me be the expert. Let me help guide you.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Mark Weiss, your Lexus guy. Find him on Facebook.
Thank you, man.
Thank you,
Good
Mark.
to see you.
I appreciate you, brother.
All right, man.
Yeah. This is the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. As usual, we want to thank our sponsors. They make this all possible. Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, Kiki Rogers Country Financial, Pep Inc., Gab Ministries, BBB Serving Southern Arizona, Seaton Photography, JDB Media, We Care Tucson, Action Print and Copy, Mark Weiss, your Lexus guy, Sonoran Senior Solutions, Desert Sunset Realty, Veteran Rescue Mission, White Stallion Ranch, Bukowski Law Firm, Unscrewed Theater, and the Tucson Taxi Show. All that and more after this break. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. A little bit more of the Common Good for you. Lucky you. I am Pastor John McClain of the Veteran Rescue Mission, which brings you the Common Good Radio Show. We highlight the good in the community. And one of my favorite people to have in studio, and definitely much very the good in the community. I have my guest co-hosts are sitting in the guest co-host seat. You have Juan Bukowski with Bukowski Law Firm. Thank you, Juan.
Thank you, Pastor McClain,
for sitting in. I imagine you're going to kind of be a little silent, but I thank you for being there regardless.
Well, thank you.
It makes me feel like we got a party going on here. So I hope you brought the chips.
Oh, I think I did.
Okay, good.
Proud to be here.
And then we got one of my favorite people in the world. Definitely easy top 10. And I got 7 kids, so that's saying a lot. We got Kiki Rogers with Country Financial, and real soon. I don't know if I'm allowed to announce this, but I'm gonna. Kiki's Best Friends.
Yes, Kiki's Best Friends radio show is going to be another part of the dynamic Common Good Media lineup, just as you're listening to this show. And so my most common question people ask about it is, how are you going to talk about insurance all for that time? I said, it's actually not about insurance. That's definitely the day job and pays the bills. But Kiki's Best Friends is more about showcasing people who have gone through their worst and are now living their best. And so showcasing that that perseverance and hope that's out there for others who might be going through a similar situation.
Yeah, and I've had the good fortune of listening to some of the early pre-episodes, and it's beautiful. It's very heart-touching, and I'm excited not only for myself to be a part of the project, but for our audience to be able to really, again, kind of capturing the essence of catching something good on the radio. Like so often we hear about all you hear is bad news on the news whenever you turn on the news or the radio, but we are creating a platform where if you tune into us, you'll get some good. There's some feel good stuff going on.
That's exactly what attracted me to being your listener initially, and then a sponsor for your shows, and now a partner. And I'm really proud to be doing that together.
I appreciate it. Well, thank you, Kiki, for trusting me.
Well, I think, like you were saying, there's enough darkness out there. The only way really to combat it is with more light.
That's it. Yeah. And to talk to that light, something we've been talking about since we've had you on the show, thankfully we get to have you once a month on the show, is Kiki's Keys.
Yeah. So we do talk insurance still.
Yeah, which is important.
It is. Yeah. And that's the really a big one of Kiki's Key number 3 is if it matters, it's insured. And really what that means is knowing what matters in your life. What are your values? What is important to you? And if that's your family, if that's, providing shelter, security, your home, your business, the legacy that you're building, how are you protecting those things? Yeah. And I, can obviously help people with insurance policies.
You have an attorney sitting next to you, just almost jumping up and down. He seems so excited. He's like, yes, protect that liability.
Exactly.
Juan here with us. What did you have to share?
No, Pastor McLean's exactly right. Liability, that's always on the attorney's mind. It's always cover yourself, be protected,
But most people don't realize, what their risks are or what's important to them that they do want to insure. And so any way that I can help with insurance policies, help you prepare for the worst so you can live your best, I'm happy to do.
Nice.
But even more so learning about what our values are and how we make those decisions to support each other.
The key this month is...
It is. If it matters, it's insured.
If it matters, it's insured. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if we punchline that.
It's insured.
Exclamation point that.
Yes. You should have some insurance policy in place.
Yeah. Nice. So go into that more.
Well, I think it starts with just knowing what we already have in place for our insurance, knowing what are our liability limits. How is your current policy protecting your assets? If you don't know the answer to that, then that's when you need to meet with an insurance agent who's dedicated to you and will review your financial situation and your home situation on an annual basis and make sure that your policy is working to protect all of your assets.
Interesting. What is the most common mistake you see when you examine someone's current policy?
The most common mistake people have is thinking that their insurance policy is protecting their car.
Okay.
Yes, it does protect our property, our own property, and the property we hurt for other people. But more so, your insurance policy is protecting you from any injury you may have or injury you may cause to somebody else. And that injury can include hospital bills, surgeries. It can include lost wages. So if you're carrying minimum coverage of $25,000 because you think your car is not worth $25,000, you could still be liable for hundreds of thousands of dollars if you cause harm to someone else. And if you don't have it in your insurance policy, then they're going to look at your affordability with your income and your assets.
What about some of the low-hanging fruit? I know for me as a younger John McClain, I never really considered life insurance. I never considered 529s and, all the different type of insurance packages that exists out there. What's some of the low-hanging fruits that you've seen that exist for people that they're not better taken advantage of?
I think one benefit of either having for an adult a term policy that gives you the option to convert it to a permanent policy, or for a minor having a juvenile policy for your kids, for your grandkids, that have, this is the important part, a guaranteed insurability option or rider. Those two options give someone who owns an insurance policy the ability to add or expand that insurance policy without having to prove medical eligibility down the road. Super important for juveniles to have that ability that they can add to their policy throughout their adulthood. If you want to learn more about that, that would be more of like a one-on-one conversation with the client based on what their goals are. But that's something a lot of people don't realize. If you have a term policy through some of the popular multi-level marketing type life insurance offers, or if you have a term policy through your work and you get ill and you can no longer work, or that you outlive that term policy, without the option to convert it to a permanent, which you don't get through your work and you don't get through those popular MLM policies, then when it expires, you don't have it anymore, and they have to look at your health if you want to get more insurance going forward. We have options where you can add more insurance on for yourself, or where juveniles can as an adult and not have to prove medical anymore.
Nice. And how can people get a hold of you if they want to plug in?
My office number is 952-848-5003. That's my direct line, and so you can give me a call. If I'm not there, leave a message. Otherwise, you can also visit our office on North La Cholla at 7510.
Yeah, and I love your office. It's really nice, very cozy. It's a beautiful
and I always have
location.
Ice cream treats.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You do. I just never take you up on it. But yeah, next
but
time.
I always offer
Next time, I'm going to get one.
So yeah, stop on in. We can talk insurance, and I can offer you an ice cream treat.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kiki.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. This is the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McClain, here with my silent co-host, Juan Bolas. I knew I was going to butcher at least once. Juan Bukalski with Bukalski Law Firm, and he'll be our next guest. Definitely, we want to thank all of our sponsors, but particularly want to invite you to the Arizona Sands Club every Wednesday at 9 a.m. There's a networking meeting where we're either thanking our different supporters or an opportunity for you to connect in with the other stakeholders in the community. So go to the Arizona Sands Club, join us every Wednesday at 9. We'll be right back after the break. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McClain here. This segment, actually, I have a guest co-host. Thank you, Kiki, for sticking around.
Happy to.
I couldn't ask for a better co-host. I have a lot of great guest co-hosts. I'll have another one on the fourth segment of this show. But, yeah, you stepped in, like always, just Kiki on the spot. That's why they made it. That's why they made a song, just to find out whether you love them or not. And
Kiki can, Kiki can save the day.
Yay! And today we played musical chairs. So we had Kiki and Juan Bukalski with Bukalski Law Firm switch seats. Thank you for being flexible and moving all the way over to that seat, Juan.
Oh, thank you. It was quite a journey.
Yeah, I know. You made it in one piece, though. Yeah, and you've caught your breath since you've been there, so that's good.
Exactly.
But
there was that moment we almost ran into each other, and then one stepped one way and the other.
A lot of tension.
A lot of tension in the aisle.
It
was an ordeal.
It was a good move. It was like, Kiki, do you love me? Yep.
No.
None of that. Okay, sorry. So, speaking of Bukalski Law Firm, I think that we were talking about that. What type of cases do you guys handle?
Well, we're just starting out. I just started the firm now.
Actually, nice, interesting. It's brand new.
Job,
You're just born.
Right, November 3rd.
Nice.
Planning to focus primarily on bankruptcy.
Okay.
But I've been doing legal aid for the last 15 years. So I've done a wide variety of cases. So if somebody comes and they want to ask me a legal question, I'm going to provide free 30-minute consultations. If I don't take it or I don't know how to do it, I'll usually recommend somebody who can.
Nice.
And then why did you get into law? What kind of got you started with this?
Well, it's interesting. I actually wanted to be a veterinarian originally.
Did you?
I think you'd be a really good veterinarian. You have that temperament about you.
You know, we have a lot of animals at home.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah, interesting.
I got a degree in physiology. I was actually working in the late 90s, early 2000s in biotech, and I started helping do patents. So I thought I'd go into patent law. So I made it into law school, went to the University of Arizona. And as things happen, you know, you plan one thing and you end up somewhere else. So out of law school, I passed the bar. I started working for the Pasquayaki tribe in legal services, which is legal aid. And I've been there 15 years. The last 5, I've been the director. And so that kind of is how I ended up where I am now. I decided that it was time for a change, and I wanted to kind of apply what I've learned to a broader market and to be able to take a broader range of cases. Sometimes in legal aid, you're kind of limited as to what you can take.
It's interesting. So, and like you said, you have kind of like this varied journey to where you are now. What is it about bankruptcy that really fuels your fire and draws you in that direction? You
know, that's a good question because it was a surprise to me. I didn't think I'd like it. I wasn't interested in law school in it. But I tried it, and I actually find it's enjoyable. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I do have some science background, so the numbers don't intimidate me. You know, I like doing it. I discovered that it's I wouldn't say easy, but as long as you're organized, you can get through it. And I enjoyed helping people who were intimidated by the process, helping them solve their problems, get out of debt, discharge it, and in many cases, you know, improve their credit scores. You know, 12 months after the bankruptcy, in most cases, it goes dramatically up. And then just relieving the stress of having creditors calling, you know, getting rid of that is a big deal.
Yeah, interesting. And so what, particularly in your past work, like what experiences, did you have experiences that kind of like really touched you or moved you that were just like, man, this is, when I do start a law firm, this is definitely something I need to hone in on.
It did. And, you know, and I do plan to focus on bankruptcy, but actually something that happened that was kind of towards how I want to practice law is I really want to listen to people, what they come in with. And I had, you know, I'd have people do intakes, and my, you know, assistant would tell me, you know, this person wants to start a trust. And I'd say, well, we don't do that, but go ahead and do the intake because maybe they just said trust. They don't really know what they want. So I like to talk to the person, find out. So a trust, usually you need a certain level of assets. I think they're very useful, but not everybody needs them. And you can actually pass most of your belongings, you know, house, a car, a bank account, naming beneficiaries.
Life
you don't
insurance.
even need an attorney. So I would help these people. I'd say, you know, in your particular situation, you don't need a trust. This is what I recommend. And if they were adamant, I could recommend a trust attorney. I'd be happy to do that. But that's kind of how I want to practice law. I want to provide solutions to people.
So what is a client or someone who's on the fence? Maybe they're afraid of the term bankruptcy and they don't want to go there, but they also know that where they're at today is not where they want to be. How should they get a hold of you, or who are those kinds of people that you can help? What are you looking for?
Oh, sure. Well, anybody with debt problems obviously would be a start. And bankruptcy is not for everybody. You know, that's the thing is I'd want to analyze the case, see what kind of debts they have, what their income is. You know, if you're in a situation where you're not getting ahead, where you're making the minimum payments and that's all you can afford, you're never going to get out. That's a good candidate for a bankruptcy. Or if you have a small business and, you know, you've borrowed a lot, you know, you have a house, you may want to do a Chapter 13, which is where you create a payment plan and you end up after 3 to 5 years discharging your unsecured debt while paying down your secured debt. So that's what I want to do. And, you know, people can reach me. I'm still kind of setting up, but my number is 520-900-5688. And it's not quite finished yet, but there is a website at jblawaz.com. That's jblawaz.com.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And I just want to encourage people to do so. I mean, when we lost our son, I couldn't go back to work, and our financial situations changed. And so we end up filing for bankruptcy in May of 2020. Something I never wanted to do, something we don't talk about, and we're not open with each other because it's very embarrassing. But I've completely rebuilt my life since then, and it is a fresh start for some people when you need it. So thank you for coming on and sharing that.
Well, thank you. I'm very sorry to hear about your son.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah.
But it happens. Things happen.
Absolutely. And definitely, I mean, just Juan, Bukowski Law Firm in general, it probably wouldn't hurt to give him a call just to kind of see if there's a lot of different areas he can work in. Like he said, he doesn't just help with bankruptcy. He could probably, help in a lot of different ways. And we'll talk about that, I'm sure, many times in the future. Thank you, Juan, for coming on. Tell one more time how people can get a hold of you. Phone number.
Sure. My number is 520-900-5688. And my website is jblawaz.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Juan.
Thank you, Pastor McLean.
I'm Pastor John McLean with the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission, here with Kiki Rogers with Country Financial. And we'll be back right after the break. If you haven't been to veteranrescuemission.org, please check it out. Not only more information about our shows, but more about our homeless veteran transition program and how you can help our mission help in veteran homelessness and suicide.
Welcome back. We are the guys next door. I'm your host, Ron Arenas, and with my co-host, Pastor John McLean, brought to you by Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that company. They're so amazing.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I love it too.
As you should. Yeah.
I think I've spent a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in that company.
Absolutely, and it shows for sure.
Yeah. So we've been around for a little while.
For a little while,
doing it.
Yeah, you got a pretty cool staff, I heard.
Yeah. I'd like to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely. I can tell you definitely put some work into keeping cool people around, and I mean, you're cool. Whether it's the cool trucks I see all over the place or the cool people I see all over the place, you guys are all over the place. So.
Yeah, we try to be.
Yeah,
awesome. Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, we have a great show for you today, and we have a great job just being able to spend time with each other and with family and friends. Today we have one of our friends, Robert Hart, with R&R Mini Roll-Offs. How you doing, Robert?
Nice.
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
So tell us a little bit about R&R Mini Roll-Offs.
So R&R Mini Roll-Offs is about 2.5 years old. I had rented a dumpster once before myself, and I was like, why am I going to rent these things if I can maybe go into business for myself?
Okay.
And I thought about taking the leap into it and looked into it and bought me a truck and trailer with some dumpsters and kind of jumped on board and went out from there.
All right. So tell us about your services.
So my services, I now currently have 3 different size dumpsters, 15s, 17s, and 20-yard dumpsters. They're used for residential and some commercial.
Okay.
They're great for small residential housing like your HOAs, so they're easy to get in and out. And they...
Man, I love how humble you are, because you make it seem like, starting this, this
adventure.
This journey, which seems like a pretty nice size organization, a pretty cool organization. It was just like, I didn't want to have to. I saw how much a pain in the butt it was to pay somebody else to do it, so I was like, might as well do that myself. But I want to imagine, must have been something that really powerful that inspired you to do that. I want to imagine the on-taking in itself, there was a lot that went into actually making it a successful venture.
Yes, it was a lot of thought went into this, because it's a big out of the pocket
sure
expense.
Yeah.
Those trailers and dumpsters are pretty pricey, of course.
Right.
I started out with 3 green 15s when I started 2.5 years ago, and about a year in, I bought my 17 yards. Started growing a little bit. Needed some bigger dumpsters. Had a little bit of request for some bigger dumpsters. And then just recently, about 8 months ago, I bought 2 20-yarders from a company out of Albuquerque that makes them a little closer than Texas Pride in Madisonville, Texas. So I jumped on them and see what they got. They got some nice dumpsters, so they worked out good for me.
Well, good. Who are your customers? Who can use your service? What kind of projects?
So you got house remodels, roofers, yard cleanouts, hoarders. Family member passed away, you got to get rid of all their stuff. and you need somewhere to get rid of it. Landscapers, I got a couple landscaping companies right now. I've got a tile company over off of Fort Lowell and Stone, SCS Tile.
Right.
They use me. Actually, they have a dumpster right now.
Much love to SCS Tile. Yeah.
So you go in there and you drop off your roll off for a specific time, and then they fill it up, and then you pick it up and you take it to the landfill.
Correct.
Right.
Yep. I have to worry about all those flat tires and the gas and stuff, and I tell you, the landfill's horrible with flat tires.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
So if you don't like to go in there and have to deal with a flat tire the next morning, calling me would be the best place to go.
That's right. That's right. Many years ago, I worked for 3 different landscaping companies, and so we spent a lot of time in the landfill. And there's a lot of flat tires.
Yeah, I used to own a landscaping company.
Yeah.
That's actually, that's how I started my little journey as an entrepreneurship for the most part. So yeah, it was a pain. It's super pain. And definitely, like when I think of like roll-offs that we've had over the years, like in our project where, we've been renovating a 1 acre property to try to create a tiny house village for homeless veterans. So many times we've had roll-offs out there. So, I mean, certainly not only could we have used your services then, but we'll be using your services in the future. So I can just imagine for people that are just gutting houses or just kind of just overall cleanup projects, whether it's for churches or just for organizations that are trying to clean up large messes, you guys are the ones to call, huh?
Yep, that's right. And they range even from I could do a single day up to a 10-day rental.
Okay. What in general? What's your cost for roll-off?
On average, depends on location. My single days start about $350.
Okay.
And they go from there. I do give some discounts for military and
good.
Retirements and elderly people.
Excellent.
People who needs. I try to help out where I can.
Right.
If they're in a really big bunch and tight spot, I try to give where I can. If I can give, I will give.
And it seems like Tucson is always under construction. I mean, somewhere there's always some kind of project going on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether it's a personal, residential project or some kind of commercial project where someone's doing a tenant improvement. I mean, there's always something going on.
Tucson's full of trash. and we need to get it to the landfill. So
metaphorically and literally.
Yeah. Yep. There's a lot of trash out there that's got to go to the dump, and there's sometimes not enough people to get it there. So
yeah, that's true. Well, I've used your services before. I had a rental house that it was in pretty bad shape when we got it back. So we had to go through the whole thing and take out all the floor coverings, the window coverings. We replaced a lot of fence. They left stuff for us that we had to throw out. So
I remember helping you load the dumpster that day too.
Yeah, I had everything
was on
ready
HOA and on the street, and it couldn't sit there very long. And that's why I'm HOA approved. HOAs like me because I can get them in and out without a lot of hassle.
Right. And that's important because you don't want the HOA, making a fuss over anything that you're doing.
Yeah. Of course, you always have to get your approval from your HOA, a lot of times first.
Right.
Let them know, hey, I'm going to do a clean out. I'm going to have a dumpster dropped here at my house for, 3 days, whatever, and however many days you think it's going to take. And then a lot of times they get them in and out a little faster. So it doesn't look like a big old dumpster sitting there for days on end. Make it look like a bad site or a bad site or
something like that.
Yeah.
So Robert, are you from Tucson?
Yes, I am. I was born and raised here.
Okay. Nice. Very good. And you have a family here, and you're doing your business here.
Yes, sir.
Supporting local always.
That's right.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's another thought I was thinking, just kind of and asking Robert, since this is the guys next door, and we'd like to kind of pride ourselves in having a show that discusses the things that I think Ron is alluding to, that fathers and that husbands and that sons and men of character we'd like to think ourselves care about in the community. What is it, something that you don't hear on the radio that is important to you that you'd think that you would like to discuss? Like one time we talked about U of A football. because that was something that was pretty interesting. Do you have anything kind of on your mind that you care about that you think we could discuss?
I mean, I care about a lot of things, like you said, family's my biggest thing, my friends are my next.
Right.
And I just kind of go from there. And I try to help out where I can. Like I said before, I love helping people. I'd give my shirt off my back if I could to somebody if they really needed it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like this morning, seen this lady this morning at the gas station, and pushing a grocery cart. She's out there in the cold. I gave her a couple dollars, asked her to go get a cup of coffee, and she did. She went inside and got herself a cup of coffee, warmed herself up, and she made me feel better.
Yeah.
So it's just there's a lot of people out there that need help. I mean, of course, I can't help everybody, but I do care. I do pride myself into doing what I can for people when I can, how I can.
Right.
And believe it or not, that was what I was trying to capture, my friend. So thank you. Yeah, just kind of the essence of, one, what is Tucson, a Tucson guy? Like, that's what kind of how we are. Like, we all kind of have this care about us. And just as fathers and brothers and sons, like, man, we care.
We do.
And I hope people out there kind of catch that.
And even though there's a million people, throughout Pima County, Tucson's still a small town. And it matters. It matters to help each other out. It really does. So Robert, how can people get a hold of you?
So my number is 520-534-8067. You can call, text, leave me a message. I don't carry my phone everywhere I go because if I'm out doing a job, I don't want to break it, of course. So I leave it in the truck. And if you call me, leave me a message, I will get right back to you as soon as I get back in the truck.
All right, perfect. Do you have a website also?
It's Robert at rnrminirolloffs.com.
All right, perfect.
Robert, so rnrminirolloffs.com is the website.
Yes.
R&R Mini Rolloffs. And tell us the phone number one more time.
It's 520-534-8067.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Robert. That's R&R Mini Rolloffs. Hopefully you'll have a project coming up so you get to meet Robert. He's a really nice guy, and he certainly seems like a really good character guy. So if Ron had invited him on the show, I know he is. So it's definitely a pleasure to meet you, brother. And for those who don't know, this is the Guys Next Door that you're listening to. I'm Pastor John McClain here with the host of the Guys Next Door, brought to you by Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, Mr. Ron Arenas, the founder of Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, keeping you cool all summer long, keeping you warm all winter long. And definitely go to veteranrescuemission.org to check out the information about the Guy Next Door radio show, as well as go to
picturerockscooling.com.
picturerockscooling.com to find out how you can plug in and get particularly get your heater examined for the winter. You don't want
keeping you safe all winter long.
All winter long. Gotcha. We'll be back next week.